Hey, bullfrogs. Hope you're doing well this morning and this afternoon. All right, so we got to chapter 6 yesterday of our high tide at Hawaii, or in Hawaii. And so we're going to read chapter 6 and possibly 7 today. All right, chapter 6 is, the title is Shake Up. Jack, cried Annie. She ran to him. Are you okay? Jack just nodded. Remember, they were surfing or trying to surf. Jack was getting pummeled in that water by all the waves. He put on his wet glasses. He felt shaky and mad at himself. I never should have tried to stand, he thought. Kama picked up Jack's surfboard from the shallow water and brought it over to him. I told you not to stand, she said, laughing. You fell hard. It's not funny, thought Jack. I nearly drowned. The best thing to do is to go right back out, said Baka. You go, said Jack. His eyes and nose burned from the salt water. I'll stay here. He walked over to his pack, picked it up, and took out the research book. Come on, Jack, said Annie. Try it again. Stay on your belly this time. No, this time I'm going to read about surfing first, he said. Oh, you should just try it again, said Annie. Not read about it. She ran to him and pulled the book out of his hand. Jack jerked it away from her. He slipped and fell onto the sand. Kama and Baka laughed again. Why are you laughing? Jack snapped. You don't even know how to read. Baka and Kama looked hurt. Jack, said Annie, that was mean. Say you're sorry. Jack opened his book and pretended to read it. He did feel sorry, but he was too upset to say so. Fine, stay here, said Annie. She went back to Baka and Kama. Let's go. As Jack sat alone on the beach, he looked up from his book. He watched the other kids paddling through the water. I don't care, he muttered. I'm never going back out in those waves. Morgan didn't send us here to surf anyway, he thought. She told us to build a ship, but how the heck are we supposed to do that? Jack heaved an angry sigh. Now he was cross with Morgan. He turned to the back of the book and searched the index for ship. Suddenly, Jack heard a rumbling from under the sand. The ground started to shake. It shook so hard the book flew out of Jack's hands. Jack bounced up and down on the beach. Shells were jumping up and down, too. Rocks tumbled down from the cliff. It's an earthquake, thought Jack. The rumbling stopped. The shaking stopped. Jack looked around. Everything was normal again, except some rocks rolled around at the bottom of the cliff. Jack looked out to sea. Kama, Baka, and Annie were past the breakers. They were sitting on their surfboards, laughing and talking. Everything seemed okay, but Jack felt sure that something was wrong. He grabbed the Hawaii book from the sand. He looked up. Earthquake. And he read, earthquakes in Hawaii have been known to cause tsunamis, which used to be called tidal waves. An earthquake can cause water out at sea to be set in motion. The water grows higher and higher as it moves toward land. Just before the tsunami strikes, water may pull away from the shore. Then it returns in a gigantic wave that crashes over the land and washes everything away. Oh man, thought Jack, a tsunami might be coming. All right, so remember, Jack is on the beach. They're all out in the water. So if a tsunami is coming, they're not going to know. They're just in the water. So Jack is going to have to hopefully warn them. All right, chapter 7 is called Ride for Your Lives. Jack had to find out more about tsunamis quickly. He read as fast as he could. A tsunami can strike a few hours or a few minutes after an earthquake. It depends on the strength of the earthquake and where it took place. After earthquakes, it is safest for islanders to seek higher ground. We have to get to higher ground now, thought Jack, dropping the book. He ran down to the edge of the ocean. Baka, Kama, and Annie were still paddling out beyond the waves. Jack forgot all about their fight. Hey, you guys, he yelled. They didn't hear him. Jack went into the shallow water. Hey, you guys, he yelled. Come back. They still didn't hear him. Jack ran to his surfboard, grabbed it, and ran into the ocean. He fought the breaking waves. Once he was past them, he threw himself on his board and paddled wildly. The wave swells grew as he paddled. He could hardly see Annie, Baca, or Kama over them. Jack paddled faster and faster, trying to reach them. "Hey!" he yelled. "Hey!" Baca looked back at him. He gave Jack a friendly wave and then turned away again. "I have to get them to come to me," Jack thought frantically. "Help! Help!" he yelled at the top of his lungs. The three kids jerked around. They paddled quickly towards Jack with worried faces. "What's wrong?" Annie cried when they got closer. "Are you in trouble?" "We all are," said Jack. "A tsunami might be coming. There was an earthquake when I was on the beach." "We'd better ride in fast," said Baca. "Stay on your bellies," said Kama. "It's safer." "Here comes a wave," said Baca. They all started paddling. The swell of the wave picked them up. They were all swept forward. Jack gripped the sides of his board as he zoomed along the others. Suddenly, he dropped down as the wave curled under. It felt like a roller coaster, but he stayed on his board as the wave carried him to shore. Jack rolled off into the shallow water. He snatched up his board and ran onto the sand. Baca and Kama were waiting. "Good riding, Jack," said Baca. "Where's Annie?" asked Jack. Baca pointed. Annie was in the shallow water, pulling her board in, as they watched something very weird begin to happen to the ocean. The water around Annie started to pull away. So what did Jack read about? That when the water is pulling away, like not just away and coming back in, but pulling away, and keep going, that means there's a tsunami coming. And eventually the water's all going to come back into chapter 8 is called The Big Wave. So tomorrow we'll read and we'll see what happens to Jack and Annie and Baca and Kama and see if they're able to get to higher ground. Okay, I hope you enjoyed reading with me today, and I will see y'all on Zoom. Bye.